Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Something of a dark weekend, especially talking about the abductions that happened over in our government science secondary school in Kankara. That's in Katsina State, and the governor, Aminu Masari, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, he sort of had his work cut out for him. The latest this morning, and we'll be finding out the very latest, but newspapers are saying this morning that the governor has not been able to account for 333, which is actually a better figure than the initial of 600 and something that hasn't been abducted. But when the dust settled, apparently some kids began to come back in and all of that. Anyway, we'll go into it. The number now is 333, unless anything has changed in the last few hours. My guest this morning is Alhaji Hassan Abdul Aziz Sani, our friend and communications professional as well as opinion molder. Thank you very much for coming on, Abdul Aziz.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Yori.
Yeah.
And thank you, Nigerians.
Indeed. Shocked were you that what happened? Because a lot of people, all sorts of things are going on, and not very much of it is very good. But in the president's home state, as it were, he arrives home, so to speak, and this kind of a stunt was pulled. It's distressing, is the one thing, and the apparent ease with which this happened, this appeared to have been carried out, is baffling, and that we haven't heard anything more since. Give me your impressions of this very, very unfortunate incident.
Yeah. Whoever have the conscience or the conscience of the country at heart, if we have, whoever have a tear should start shedding the tears for the Northeast, for the Northwest, for some parts of North Central, and some pockets of areas in the Southwest and the South-South, entire Nigeria entirely, where we have pockets of violence over. It's a shock. And the way I look at it, it serves the president right.
How do you mean?
To him.
How do you mean?
Yes, what I mean is this. People have been crying loud and clear. They have been telling him, sir, do something about the security architecture in Nigeria. Do something about Katsina State. This is a state where 80 people were killed at once by the bandits and kidnappers. And this is a state of Mr. President. The same thing happened in Maiduguri recently, where farmers were killed. And people were busy, sending all sorts of information, misinforming the public about it. That the people that were killed in Maiduguri were these traders that trade with the Boko Haram and this and that. We are very good in Nigeria in trying to make things look stupid. Where we are supposed to shade our sympathy, we now end up looking at the victims as if they are nothing. The same thing happened. Let me take you down memory lane. The same thing happened during this Mariam Sanda and her husband issue, the killing. People begin to send something contrarious to the people. And people began to have this kind of sympathy for a killer. How do you justify that? How do you justify killing? And you see, we are taking ourselves backward in terms of education. They are now targeting, they are no longer targeting travelers now. Mm-hmm. They are no longer targeting communities now. They are now targeting educational institutions. A situation whereby we knew very well that the Northern State government and even the federal government entirely is trying seriously to see how they encourage education. And now you can see.
Although nobody has yet claimed, responsibility for the
issue is this. That place is the hotspot.
Yes.
From Kankara, look, let me tell you, the way the whole place look like. That place is my senatorial district, Funtua Senatorial District, Southern Katsina. You understand? From Kankara you understand, to Zulunkutu, to Mabai, to Kakumi, Ruango there, to Shemi. Then you take right to Kankara, down to Paskari, Kadisau, you understand? This area, what they call, Kandibe, up to Sabwa. These areas are hotspots of kidnappers and bandits.
Already known.
Recently.
Known to the security agencies, known to the people.
Yes. They even stationed some detachment of military in Kankara.
Yet, what happened happened.
So in case of any distress call.
You know what, Alaji? Our correspondent in Katsina, he's standing by. But we also have a report that went out earlier. Let's just refresh our memories. Let's play that report first, and then we'll talk with our correspondent to get some perspective of he's there on the ground now. But first of all, the report.
An unexpected invasion of Kankara by bandits, and its result is the abduction of the students, as the Katsina State Governor has confirmed 333 school students still missing. The timing of the attack is embarrassing to the federal government, coming at a time the president is in Katsina on a private visit for 1 week. It has brought a federal government delegation to Katsina led by the Minister of Defense, Bashir Salihi Magashi. He presents the government position, which is that the action by the bandits is intended to confuse the people and disrupt education. He pledged the government's determination to rescue the children within the shortest possible time. The delegation also commiserates with the people and government of Katsina State.
Today, with all the sorrowfulness in our mind, we are coming today also to sympathize with you. I don't know, is it kidnapping or whatever, but I think it is more or less a useless exercise conducted by you to destroy the education of children, about 800 of them. And the confusion arising therefrom in the Kankara local government, we felt this kind of thing, which happened 2 days ago, the armed forces and the police and other security agencies must move very fast to ensure the students are rescued. We are doing this on the belief that if these kind of people are allowed to rest for a moment, we are also equally condoning this kind of activity.
The public is relying on the armed forces and other security agencies to act swiftly to rescue the children. Governor Aminu Masari, who is still in shock, appreciates the concern of the federal government and urges the people to continue to pray for the state.
We appreciate the concern shown by the President and Commander-in-Chief by authorizing your coming here to sympathize with the people of Katsina State, the parents, teachers, and the Ministry of Education of Katsina State. The children so far kidnapped cut across the state because the school is a boarding school. It houses all children from all parts of the state and some even from outside the state. It has a population of 839, and so far we are yet to account for 333 peoples, and we are still counting because more are coming out of the forest, and we are calling through the numbers, those parents that have numbers, to find out whether their children have gone back home.
The state government believes it is time to declare forest commanders as terrorists and galvanize for support to end their menace. As the people now wait anxiously for the remaining 333 students to be rescued, their state of mind is not helped by conflicting reports awash on social media. The state government and the federal government are all doing their best in trying to console the people and to reassure the people of the zeal of the government to rescue those children alive. Abdulatif Yusuf, TVC News, Katsina.
Okay, and as I said, we have Abdulatif Yusuf on the line now, standing by. Good morning, Abdulatif.
Good morning, sir.
Yori Folani is in studio here alongside our guest, Abdulaziz Sani. First of all, what's the very, very latest? Because the newspapers this morning are saying 333 students still are missing. Is that? But the governor was saying there that, you know, it's dynamic. Some people are coming out of the bush. What's the latest figure that you have as of this morning?
Having the official figure is the conflicting part of the scenario, because on social media they have their own figures. The government and other parents around the school, as I'm standing now in the school premises where the incident happened, the popular opinion is that 333 are still missing, despite the fact that some said 10 were chambered this morning. But on arrival at the school, I confirmed with the authorities and the parents around, nobody has been rescued within the last few hours, as being speculated on social media. So
okay.
As far as general opinion is concerned, 333 are the number that are still being searched for.
And now, Abdulatif, that's an unprecedented number, 333, which is actually, as you know, down from the initial number that we heard that was around 600, but now it's come down to 333, and we're still working on it. But the other thing is that the citizens actually went on a demonstration. You know, what was that about? That the authorities were not able to swing into action the way they thought the case deserved? Or tell us about the reported sort of demonstration of parents, citizenry in Katsina.
Yes, it was also reported that some group of the parents mobilized to the street to air their grievances on the laxity shown by the military operatives around. They ought to have intercepted the movement of the bandits and the children before they were taken to the forest. That was what the people were angry about. And even when the governor came around to the school, he met some of the parents and he was trying to console them that despite the eventuality, the government would not sit down and fold its arms. And a lot of military operations, as we were advancing to Kankara this morning, we saw a lot of military vehicles and deployment of heavy machinery to comb the forest area where they are suspected to have been killing the children.
Abdulatif, one other question. As you know, the president was home, he was home in Katsina over the weekend, and this, whether it was a coincidence, whether it was planned, this particular action, so to speak, in the face of the president, any kind of, what are people saying about that, the coincidence of the president's at home and they strike in this big way?
You know, similar incident happened some years back when there was a visiting president in Katsina, and he didn't bother to visit the scene or the area it happened. And people said a lot of things about that. And now that the president is also in town, he came around, and that same hours after he came, the attack took place. And people are also trying to hear their voice and views of his sending a delegation instead of coming down to see the people and console them and tell them what the government is doing to rescue those children. So the general opinion of the people around is that they are not too confident in the action the government is taking.
To the best of your knowledge, yes, we've seen the delegation that Mr. President moved, but you know, in Katsina, has Mr. President done anything so that the people there can take advantage of the fact that he's in town, the commander-in-chief happens to be in town? Anything apart from spokespeople speaking for the president? Anything at all?
Nothing at all. Only the press releases and condemnation issued by his spokesperson. Apart from that, then the coming of the delegation yesterday, they visited the scene and they interacted with the PTA and some of the officials of the school, and which later the message they brought from the president was also communicated to the general public that were around in the area. But one-on-one, the people have not had any chance to either talk to the president or to have anything that is special to signify the presence of the president in town when this thing is happening. Yes,
now, I know you have a tight schedule, so one last question before you go, and thank you for making the time. You're actually supposed to be on another assignment just as we are speaking. Now, what have the authorities told us in terms of progress? Because I'm imagining they must have swung into action. Progress and how optimistic they are of being able to take care of this particular business, lest it becomes like the Bring Back Our Girls saga. What are the authorities saying? Are they saying they're hot on their heels? Are they saying they have good leads? Or is there silence from that area as well?
The Minister of Defense told us yesterday at the government house that they are doing all possible to rescue those children within the shortest possible time. And the interview, exclusive interview I had with the governor yesterday night at around 9 o'clock, he also reaffirmed his position that in no time we are expecting something to come up in the rescue mission.
Okay.
So let's hope that it goes the way the authorities are planning it.
Indeed. I want to thank you very much, Abdul Latif Yusuf, our correspondent in Katsina. Thank you very much for coming on this morning. Back to the studio now. Abdul Aziz, I don't know, personally, I wasn't very reassured by what's the news that's coming out, apart from the fact that the authorities, have just said, as Abdul Latif was telling us, that in the very shortest time possible. You said it serves him right, speaking of Mr. President.
Yeah.
What do you think he could have done or might have done that hasn't been done?
There was a public outcry by Nigerians, including prominent Nigerians. They spoke out to Mr. President, change the service chiefs, rejig the security architecture so that we can have security. The essence of governance, Mr. Yori, is to secure lives and properties of the people. And government is failing in that particular direction. And people now say, look, sir, can you please change them so they can have new hands? And even the intelligence, there's this paucity of intelligence.
Okay.
Because what we are seeing is much more like asymmetric warfare with no front. What is much more important here for the military to do is to improve more on their intelligence.
Okay.
To be proactive, not to be defensive.
Okay, one moment, please. Mr. Joshua in Irewalide, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
I greet your guest.
Good morning.
I think he didn't mean to say it serves the president right. That seemed to be too. I was shocked when he said that.
Well, the man is a
right.
communications professional, and so I can assure you that with Abdul Aziz, and he's sitting right there to contradict me if necessary, he says exactly what he means.
Yeah, you see, Uncle Yori, security, we are at a time where we should put our thoughts ahead of our emotions. When it comes to security issues, our thinking is very important. Number one, I mean, it's so unfortunate that it happened. And coinciding with the president visiting his state, I suspect foul play. Personally, I suspect foul play. If there's anything political about security, then I will introduce politics into it. For me.
But it would appear that the military or the authorities did not have the intelligence that they were going to strike.
We see all these things have been going on, all these shenanigans of security and backford, people playing with themselves. I really think that the northern elders or northern leaders need to sit down. This is a time to dialogue on these security issues.
Okay.
You don't need to use security to embarrass anybody. Uncle Yori, I attended a secondary school in the northern part of Nigeria. This is a science secondary school, and it's about boys. It is very difficult for anybody to capture 300 boys. What did you bring? In my secondary school, if you attempt to enter our school with any armored vehicle or whatever, you are in trouble. You will have a whole lot of, you are chasing boys. See, we were ready to die. Even before you bring your armored this thing, you know, young people who are teenagers and all that.
So you're suspecting foul play because of what you're saying? You're saying
I'm suspecting foul play.
Okay.
The number makes me to suggest, to suspect that, looking at my experience of being in a similar secondary school in the past. So they should investigate this thing properly, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling in. I really appreciate your calling in. Look at his analysis. These are not girls. These are boys. How can you, in short,
Mr. Irewolide, thank you very much.
No, Mr. Joshua.
Mr. Joshua, thank you very much. One thing is very clear here. You see, I see no reason why we should not call a spade a spade. This is becoming too much in that axis. Recently, ASPs that were posted from Maiduguri to Zamfara State were kidnapped in that very axis. Recent development, I'm telling you. Between Kankara and Shemi, they were kidnapped. And their families came out to say that they paid ransom. What is the government doing? This issue of trying to color something, I don't think it's right for us now.
What do you mean by trying to color? You mean like trying to make explanations? Or?
No, the issue is this. By trying to say things the way they are.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Look, that place is my area. I was born, bred, and brought up in that area. When you talk of Malumfashi, Huntua, Kankara, Bakori, that is where I was born and brought up. So I'm very cautious of that area.
So you know the terrain?
I know the terrain. You understand? You see,
what about the idea? Sorry, sir. What about the idea that, look, 333 boys?
Not even that. It's the dimension the bandits are bringing into it now.
Okay.
The dimension of Chibok, the dimension of Dopchi, and seek for ransom. You understand? We must be able
secondary schools
to stand up, stand out, and express our grievances. Mr. Wari, I was in Kaduna about over 3 months ago when our elder brother passed away. Do you know what made me to cry silently was when our families came from Huntua. Now, as the time was approaching around 2, 3, they now call all of them to come out. Please, come and start going because the road is not safe. These are our blood relations.
That's how bad things have gone.
I'm telling you.
Let me come back to you
Funtua.
because Mr. George has been holding on. I wanted you to land. I'll come straight back to you. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in. Did I lose him already?
Alhaji Hassan.
Yeah.
If indeed the money is good, the money is not good to me, Uncle Yori, because what is happening is baffling. Alhaji Hassan said he serves the president right. Well, I don't know about that language, but it is not a personal thing to the president. It is the parents who are suffering from this mishap. The president is nothing is touching him. Nobody can kidnap him. None of his children is there. So I don't know how it serves him.
In that way, how does it serve Mr. President right? Because he is not the person, even though he might have the anguish as the president, but he can't be compared to the parents of the abducted.
Yes, who are suffering from the trauma that is coming from this. But I agree with him that for so long, many people have been saying that these service chiefs should be changed and the architecture of the security system itself should be rejigged. He is not listening. What is it? Look at this one that has happened now. We have not even recovered the whole of Chibok girls. Only about half of them came back. The rest, we don't know what has happened to them. They will end up recruiting these boys into Boko Haram and become useless to the society. Where are we going from here?
Indeed.
Where are we going from here?
Yeah.
Somebody should tell the president that he's not doing well security-wise. We should not be afraid to tell him, I'm a supporter. I fought to ensure that he comes to power.
Very well. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. It goes, first of all, you spoke about it. Mr. George has spoken about it. There are millions out there that are also thinking about the whole idea of, Mr. President, change the security chiefs. But the view appears to be from the presidency that you can't see what I can see. And so in my better wisdom, that's not the answer. That seems to be the president's position.
Look, do you know what? This is a president that was formerly a military man, a GOC, a fighter. You understand? Is never a novice in this area. Mr. President is not a novice as far as security and security architecture is concerned.
Okay.
So for him not to do the needful, and for people to tell us that we should not air our views, that is embarrassing, is this and that, they are not even fair to us, and they are not fair to Nigerians. Okay. Look, let me tell you one thing. You see,
please hold it so that I won't need to interrupt you. But right now, I've got to go on a commercial break, so I'll come straight back to you. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and still have Hassan Abdulaziz Sani, our communications professional and opinion molder, in our studio. And we're looking at the, quite frankly, disaster in terms of security. If 333 boys of Government Science Secondary School in Kankara have been abducted, no trace of them whatsoever, we don't know, apart from what we usually hear from government, that no stone will be left unturned. We will do all that can be done. And, you know, people are now beginning to say, look, how well is this administration headed up by President Muhammadu Buhari doing in terms of security? Yeah, we've been hearing of, you know, successes in some areas, but not enough to sort of remove the demand of the people that, Mr. President, if you can't see it, we outside here, maybe we're not professionals, but we can see that you need to change the security chiefs. Well, so far, as I said, Mr. President's line of thinking seems to be, you know, he can see, he has a bird's eye view of the situation. At the very, very best, the rest of us don't have it. And in Mr. President's wisdom, the service chiefs for now need to say. Now, you were pursuing a line of thought that Mr. President is a retired professional military man.
A fighter.
Okay.
It's not an administrative person in military. He's a gallant soldier. Why should you allow this kind of a thing to be happening before you? That is our disappointment with him.
Yeah. Have you factored in the fact that it's different when you're a military president and when you're a democratically elected president?
No. You see, the issue is this.
Is that relevant in this?
No.
It's not.
He is the president and commander-in-chief.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Okay. So you are capable.
Okay.
Look, it's unlike his own case. It's unlike that of Jonathan. Jonathan is a novice. You understand? As far
a non-military person. He was not a soldier.
Thank you very much. He can be misinformed. But for you to serve as a GOC, you understand, a very active person, and for this kind of a thing to be happening, look, let me tell you one thing. I supported him when he appointed Buratai, when he appointed the chief of air staff and co. You understand? Because these guys are from that area. It's justified then. But the whole thing is waning away now.
Yeah.
It's waning away.
Let me take Apostle Diamond. Good morning and thank you for holding on a bit. Go ahead now, sir. Apostle Diamond?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, compliment of the season.
Indeed, same to you, sir.
I once lived in Katsina and I worked in Katsina. I know that area, that adjective very well. Katsina, if you look at Gibia Maji, hello?
We can hear you.
If you look at Gibia Maji to Gibia, leading towards Shinkafi, then to Sokoto, they should block that axis. They should block that axis. By the time they block that corridor, definitely those boys, they will see most of them again. Because while I was there in Katsina, I used to see the policemen just walk carelessly with batons, walking in Lagos Kondo. For heaven's sake, in a state like that, Katsina, where you have weather stations, if you want to Congoland, Zandu, Babura, the Belen too, then you see policemen just walking without arms and ammunition. What has happened today is not really what has happened now, unless it's a disgrace.
Okay.
We need that spirit of nationalism is what we should put on ground now.
Okay.
So that every insecurity in this country must be wiped out. And we should start from our different roads too. Local government, our corridors, our axes, up to the state and national level.
Okay.
We need discipline.
All right then.
And God will help us.
Thank you very much, Apostle Diamond. Thank you. Now, Alhaji Hassan, there's a sense of embarrassment, and you don't even have to be from the area, to Nigerians, that this kind of a thing happened, and our military appears helpless to do anything.
We knew it's an embarrassment to the president for this kind of a thing to coincide with his visit to Katsina. We knew. You understand? But let us call a spade a spade. This is no time for denials. There's no time for evasions, neither alibis. I told you. I was in Kaduna. My relations were told, please come and move. Because the road is not safe. Between Zaria, you see, between Kaduna, from Kaduna up to Funtua, it's not safe.
That is your own people saying that to you in your own area.
To my people in my presence, my relations came for condolence.
Okay. Yeah.
They told them, come and start going because the road is not safe.
So it's like the citizenry, the people know already that you're on your own here.
People are helpless.
Well, that's an unfortunate, because you said earlier, and everybody knows that the primary business of government is to make sure the people are not helpless when it comes to their safety.
Mr. President, do away with your service chiefs. Rejig your security architecture.
Okay.
Rejig your security architecture for the betterment of Nigeria. What happened to Katsina can happen to Lagos.
Indeed.
Can happen to Oyo, can happen to Akwa Ibom, can happen to anywhere. Please, let us see how we secure our country.
Okay. Saidu Umar in Kaduna State. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
I'm from Kaduna.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, this issue you are discussing, it has baffled me from Friday that the thing occurred. I wasn't happy with the situation at all. This is a terrain that has spent almost 12 years. Kankara especially is an open land up to Zamfara. How can 333 be missing? In fact, what I just want you to understand is that the present government, we praise, we fought, we pray for it to come. If we pray and this thing we are suggesting something, we are not stupid. They should listen to our voice. Listen to our voice in the sense of saying, change these people is better. The chief of army staff is from the north. The chief of air staff from the north. What is so called? Minister of Defense is from the north. Special advisor to security is from the north. Then what is the essence of having this kind of problem? With the situation in Nigeria, with the way we see Nigeria, the situation we see in Nigeria, if all these people are from the south, it could become another problem. But now, they are telling this man to change. It's better to change the right time. These children that are supposed to be good people of tomorrow, we are wasting them. Kankara is a place that, in fact, is so open. 12 years I was moving there, Tusema, Kankara, Funtua, for 12 years. How can 300 and something students be missing?
Okay.
Please.
Thank you very much, Seidu. Appreciate your calling, Seidu. You know, you were saying earlier that, look, you didn't have a problem initially when all these service chiefs were being appointed because you said they knew they were from the area, they would know the terrain, would be able to address the issue. Yeah. But you've since been disappointed.
Yes.
Their knowledge has not affected anything.
It's waning away. Their performance is waning.
Why do you think that would be? If they know look, people who are not even soldiers are telling us, look, why don't you block off certain area? I know it's easier to say to be an armchair military tactician and strategist.
You know what? Saying block here, that's not an issue. It's a failure of intelligence. You don't fight anything terrorism, anything with semblance of terrorism with deployment of soldiers on the ground. No. You fight them with intelligence.
But clearly there was a failure here.
There's a failure of intelligence.
There's a failure.
You understand?
They defeated us on the intelligence level.
And do you know what? You see, what I'm seeing now in this country is this. Right from General Ibrahim Babangida's time up to today, the intelligence community are not fair to Nigerians. And they are not fair to their leaders. They are not telling the leaders the truth. There must be something wrong. Okay. People are much more interested in protecting their seats and feeding the authority or the leadership with what they would like to hear.
What they want to hear.
The same thing happened with Jonathan. Jonathan, they fed him with the false information that Boko Haram is a calculated attempt by the North to frustrate his government, to take over his government. And that was his belief up to the time he left. The same, how do you think the same thing is not happening now?
Okay.
That we are seeing something, but they are telling something to Mr. President.
Mr. Yakub in Dokwemo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Jori.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to Raja Azan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yakub.
Chief Jori, this is an embarrassment. I can tell you for free, Chief Jori, Raja Azan in that studio, and then me personally, Mr. George, and then Reverend Dominic, and then I can mention some other people. We supported this government, not because we are docile, not because we are fools. We support this government because we believe that on this government, they will change some certain things for good. One, the campaign of Mr. President in 2015, Chief Yori, is based on economics, security, corruption. Chief Yori, today, I personally support this Mr. President all because he promised to fight corruption. Chief Yori, the security of this country today, it is totally derailed. We are not supporting Mr. President. I've been saying this time without number. We are not supporting Mr. President all because we need something from them. We just supporting Mr. Government, Mr. President, because we need a very good society. We need a good Nigeria that can be able to live wherever he is and sleep with the two eyes closed. I would say that, Chief Jori, you cannot tell me, I personally telling Mr. President the truth. I want to ask this morning, why is it that it's difficult for Mr. President to change the service chief? If somebody like me, Mr. George Alhaji in that studio, can be able to say, I know Mr. President is always watching this very particular program. There is not anybody that can say that he loves Mr. President than me. Even though it is not my father, because it is a father of the nation, I can be able to tell him the truth. Even those people, they sacrifice sitting down with Mr. President and not looking to Mr. President eyeball to eyeball and telling him the truth. We Nigeria, we that we are here in Lagos support his government, voting for him, campaign for him, without not collecting a dime from anybody. We can be able to tell him the truth that he should be able to reduce the surface chief. He can be able to change them. Let's see another people coming to that place and change the system to good. Because they have to tell him the truth. Here in Dokwemu here, people are calling me a president's son. Why are they calling me a president's son? Because they know that whatever I say, I always supported. I cannot be able to support a president. I will tell him the truth, and then he will never listen to me because I'm an ordinary person. Why? He should be able to change the surface chief. Let's see another people coming, and then be able to provide the weapon to them so that they can be able to recover all these guys. Now, the Japanese people, those guys, they have never returned.
Okay, Mr. Yakub.
They have never returned. Now,
okay, Mr. Yakub, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for calling in. As impassioned as always about Nigeria. You know, Alhaji Al-Hassan, also it has been said from the presidency, and I wonder what you think about the line of thought that those clamoring for a change of the service chiefs, there is no guarantee that that would be a panacea to the problem that we have, the security problem that we have. What would you say to that?
Missouri, if you have headache now, where do you go to? You go to the hospital, right? Thank you. Can anybody look at you and tell you that going to the hospital is wrong? If your car is faulty, what do? You take it to the mechanic, right?
Yeah, but why isn't Mr. President thinking along those lines too?
Look, let me tell you one thing.
What's your theory? What's your theory?
Let me tell you one thing, Mr. Yori. You see, unfortunately and unfortunately for Mr. President, he always comes as a mechanic. As a mechanic in the sense that when some people must have messed up the place, he will now come in to clear up the whole place and put it right. When Shagari government messed up the country, he came in. When Jonathan messed up the country, he's coming in again. You understand? But Mr. President should give us a listening ears. He should give us a listening ears.
Okay, because
in the sense that
I noticed that you stopped short of saying that now he has come and he is messing up the country. You stopped short. You didn't say that.
No.
Okay.
The issue is this. He should rejig the security. You understand? We trust him. We like him. That was why we voted for him. We did not vote for him based on any primordial sentiment. No. We all voted for him in 2015 and 2019 because we wanted to right the wrong of the past regimes. You understand? That was why we put him there. And we should have the courage to look him straight in the eyes and tell him the home truth. Sir, there's a problem here. Please correct it. There's no problem with doing that.
There's no problem in doing that.
Anybody can be corrected.
Yes. Habila in Gombe State, good morning.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
The truth is bitter. The president knows what is going on in the country. But I only urge my fellows that all we need to do, both Christians and Muslims, it's high time for us to pray and ask God, whoever has hand in this, that the Lord God Almighty should deal with them. That's just it. Because most of this school, most of them are masses. Most of their children, they don't school here. Most of them are abroad. So it's we that are suffering. So it's high time we should pray and seek the face of God, that God should take control over all the things.
Thank you very much for calling in. Now, that's a typically Nigerian response. Say, even the army has, engaged in spiritual exercises.
Do you know one thing? Mr. Ori, how do you expect parents, even non-parents, to take their children to school with the recent happenings and with the recent attack on educational institutions in Kankara?
Yeah.
It discourages education. And you know what it means to discourage education. You breed prostitutes, you breed terrorists, you breed all sorts of nonsense in your society. It's much more better for you to acquire an expensive education than to withstand this issue of frustrating Western education in our midst.
Exactly. That is also, as I was going to say that.
Look, let me tell you the history.
Boko Haram has not admitted being involved in this.
Do you know what?
Okay.
Let me take you down memory lane of this science secondary school you see in Katsina State.
Hold the thought so I can come back and take it. Elvis in the UK, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
In relation to this matter of kidnapping, I think it's high time Nigerians, we all wake up and put a stop to this nonsense. This is a business that the northern elite, don't get me wrong, I'm a southerner, but I grew up in the north. This is a business that is being conducted by the northern elite. The presidency knows exactly what is going on. Everybody that's of consequence in the north knows exactly what is going on. This is just an attempt to rip off donor agencies and all that. If companies like the UN and all that that are donors to Nigeria stop, all this kidnapping and all this will stop. The presidency knows about all these killings, all this banditry, all this whatever. If Nigeria has turned into a bandit country, then they should register it as a business with the Corporate Affairs Commission so that we will know that this is the business we are into. How can this be happening in the president's own state while he is there? And he will say he doesn't know anything about it, or the presidency itself will say they don't know anything about it. This has to come to an end. If Nigerians will need to be kidnapped, then let us go into kidnapping once and for all and stop this nonsense. It should be a preserve of the North Central, Northeast, and all that. It needs to stop.
All right,
thank you very much, Uncle Yori, and thank you very much, Mr. Hassan.
Thank you, Elvis.
Thank you very much, Elvis. Yeah.
Mr. Yori, do you know what is really happening?
Tell me.
You see, people can have their perceptions. I don't see the northern elites, you understand, behind this issue. You understand? What I'm seeing a bigger picture of a country at war against itself. You understand? We have pockets of it. In the north, you have Boko Haram. In northwest, you have banditry. You understand? In north central, you have cultism. In southeast, you have IPO. In south, you have militancy. You understand? In side of southwest here, you are having cultism also. You understand? Trying to be an authority over things. You understand? You see, we should begin to look at it from holistic approach of it so that we can solve the problem. I don't need a visa to be in Enugu. I don't need a visa to be in Akwa Ibom. I don't need a visa to be in Lagos. You understand? We are all together. And this, what is happening in Northwest, federal government should be up and doing.
So all hands have to be on deck to solve it.
Anywhere.
Let me bring in Femi in Surulere. Good morning, sir, and thank you for holding on.
Good morning, Uncle Ori, and good morning to your guests.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
I lost confidence in our military to handle this issue of insecurity. Right from the moment when...
You've lost confidence in our military?
Yeah.
To handle these terroristic activities?
When to move civilians from Maiduguri down to Jambwa, they find it difficult. Now, I want to tell you something. Problems are now solved majorly with technology. Why can't we approach, even if we don't have that technology, why can't we approach those who have the country to help us give us a satellite coverage of all these areas so that we can know their movement and all these things. When we gave the president $1 billion to buy equipment, military drone from China cost something in the range of around $12 million. We don't have it. We approached US to give us plane. There is nothing that stops us from saying, okay, before you finish manufacturing now, why can't we loan from you? We need to have to pay for the ones they are already using for us to have all those things. And the president knows, if you watch the president, it depends on loyalty above competence in all his appointments. And that is why he's not moving those people. And you can know from his assistant that he was removed by a coup in the first instance. So you need somebody who will be in charge of the army just to protect him, not to work for this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Femi. Okay, well, Alhaji, to wrap it up now, you've expressed your disappointment with our performance in the security sector so far by our military. It seems you think that, no, I wonder if you think that the solution is known, but where is the political will to do that which is necessary?
Yes. Yes. Mr. President, and people around Mr. President are no fear to him. They are not telling him the truth. They are not telling him the truth. Or not to them. If this man fails, they all fail together. They should not allow him to fail. Okay. They should look him straight in the eyes, tell him the home truth, so that we can all be safe all together.
I think that's a fine place to leave it, Alhaji, for maximum effect. Let's just leave it there. Hassan Abdulaziz Sani, communications professional, and indeed opinion molder, as always. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Mr. Ori. Thank you, Nigerians.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on this story, you can imagine, and so, please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. COVID-19 is a totally different story, but the most important thing to know, I think, is just keep up all the protocols, from washing hands to distancing to not hugging, not kissing, whatever you can do in the meantime. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.